Hi, we're going to start this sequence standing. So I just want you to be at the kind of back of your mat, have your feet hip distance apart, and often we actually tend to put our feet a little bit wider than our hips, so really concentrate on having your feet below your hips and just really concentrate on just being in the moment. So forget about the morning you've had, the day you've had, the day you're about to have, and just think about the time you've given yourself to do this class. Have all points of your feet on the mat, so they have all 10 toes, have the balls of your feet, and you have the heel of your feet grounded, really giving you that feeling of being grounded. And really just think about going into some slow, deep Pilates breaths into the nose and out through the mouth. Just do a few more deep breaths into the nose and out through the mouth. Last one into the nose, out through the mouth. And just concentrate on the time you've given yourself here today. So now we're just going to sweep our arms up to the sky, big stretch up to the ceiling or the sky, and then bring your arms back down. Just do that a few more times, sweeping your arms up, just stretching ourselves out. Many of you might have been sat down all day or about to sit down all day. So really just good for our bodies just to stretch ourselves out. Let's just do one more up. And the next one, we're going to arms up and then we're going to try and go for our tiptoes. It's the first balancing of the day, so don't worry if you wobble a little bit. Oh, a little wobbly. Just try and go up your toes and then back down. Arms come down as you breathe out. So inhale to repair, exhale up on the toes if you can, and then slowly lowering yourself down as you lower your arms. Let's just do one more. And then down. Now we're just going to go into some side stretches. So move yourself over to the left or whichever side. If you're mirroring me, it'd be your left, and just keep going over to that same side. And then we're going to add in a bit of flow. So as you move over, bring the other arm to meet it. So it's almost like you're going around an imaginary big ball and just floating your arms around. Just getting into that side stretch. Let's just do two more on this side. And then we're just going to go to the other side. So just come over with that top arm. You can add in the bottom flowing arm if you like already. You know where we're going with this one. And just add it in to flow around that big beach ball. Just getting into some floaty movements and some stretches. Let's just do three more. Again, concentrating on feet being grounded. Last one. And now we're just going to roll ourselves down. So really do it slowly. Think about tucking your chin to your chest. And then as you roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, slow and steady until your hands touch the floor. And then we're going to walk ourselves out into a plank. Hold that plank for 1, 2, and walk yourself back up. So these are just called inchworms. And as you roll up, roll yourself vertebrae by vertebrae. Your head should be the last thing to come, and let's just add the arms in because we've stretched them out. Just going to do two more of those, just slow and steady. Roll yourself down towards the mat, and as your hands touch the mat, then you start to walk yourself out into the plank. Hold, think as you're pausing for a photo, and then walk yourself back in. Rolling yourself up to the top with your hands. You can add the tiptoes if you feel to check your balance, might be a little bit better now. And last one down, and then this last one we're going to hold it out into a plank. Now we're just going to hold our plank and do some plank rocks. So just rock yourself forward and back. So you're just flexing on your toes. Try and keep in that nice plank. See, I was a little bit high, so just keep your hips low. And just want you to concentrate on keeping yourself grounded with your hands and then pushing up a little bit with your upper back. So your upper back should be a little bit rounded. Imagine I've got your hand in between your shoulder blades and you're trying to push against me. And it should feel nice and stretch out those hamstrings and the back of the legs. Let's just do three more. 2, 1. Now settle yourself in a plank position. I'm just going to do a few leg lifts. Just lift up your right leg just a tiny bit off the mat and place it down. And then your left and place it down. You don't need to go very high, otherwise you'll start arching and lose your alignment. So just go a little bit high, a little bit up and down. Let's just do 2 more on each side. And last one. We've been holding the plank for a while, so we're going to go and stretch. So lift your right leg up and just bring it up towards your right hand. And this is just a good stretch. Some people call it the best stretch in the world. Stretching out your hip flexor. And then we're just going to add in a thread the needle. So lift your arm up to the sky and then thread it down underneath. Think about sloping your back of your hand against the mat. All the way back up, stretch up. Someone's pulling your hand to the sky and then painting your back of your hands along the mat. Up to the sky. Remember, slow and steady as we go. Let's just do 3 more on this side. Two more. And last one. And place that hand down. We're going to go back into a plank. Let's just do a couple more plank rocks just to keep ourselves moving. 3, 2, 1. Steady yourself in the plank in neutral. Then bring your other leg forward to meet the hand. And we're just going to go back into the stretch and back into lifting our arm up to the sky and threading it under. Just concentrate lifting up as high as you can. Imagine someone's pulling your hand underneath you. Let's just do 3 more. And 2. And last one. And then place your hand down, step your foot back into that plank. Now we're going to do almost like a reverse inch one. So we're just going to walk ourselves back up to standing slowly. And remember, get your hands to your feet and then roll yourself up again. Again, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. So your head is the last thing up. You can do a big shoulder roll as you get up. Let's just do a couple more of those. I'm getting to the shoulders already with those planks. Okay, now keep your feet hip distance apart. We're just going to go into some slow squats. So squat back. And the important thing to make sure is you imagine you're sitting into that imaginary chair, but as you do, your knees can't come forward in front of your toes. So don't have them leaning forward. Concentrate on having the weight back in your heels. And then just come up. Let's just keep going down and up with this in a slow motion. So almost go down to the count of 3, up to the count of 3. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And with concentrate being weight in the heels, and as you come up, really squeeze your glutes, your bum muscles, to get that moving and start going into those glutes. Let's just do 3 more. Remember to keep at a slow pace. Nothing in Pilates needs to be rushed. You've given yourself this time to do the class, and we shouldn't need to rush anything. That was our last one. We're just going to go down and go in some pulses. So on this last one, hold it down. It's going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay down. Let's add in a heel lift and then lower yourself slowly. Don't wherever you fall, put your hands down just to get into a seated position. Then you just want to maybe shuffle yourself a little bit forward, so in the front of the mat, and then we're just going to find our C curve. So a C curve on our back is when you imagine you're scooping your belly, and you can see literally our spine goes into a curve. So just scooped in, pulling that core in. I'm just going to start off just by going back halfway and then come up. So we're just moving through, keeping that C curve. If you need to, you can hold the back of your legs for support if you need to, but otherwise try and have your hands, arms reached out forward. Let's just do a few more of these. Starting to go into that core. It's just 2 more, and then we're going to add in some arms. And last one. So now this time, when you go back down, you're going to add in an elbow reach. So just go back, single elbow, and switch out, alternate. So back, and you can turn your head just to look at that back elbow. Don't go too far. Again, it's still just a C curve halfway. We don't want to overstretch your shoulders, so just come back as far as you're coming back. And just keep your arms parallel if you can. Again, if you can't do this, there's nothing wrong with going back into just holding up your hands behind your thighs. But if you can, let's just keep going And we're going to do 2 more in each side. So 2 and 1. Now this time we're going to hold it back. So come forward. This last one, we're just going to hold it back and just hold the C curve and just do those arms. So keep going left and right, still only going back in line with your shoulders. Should start feeling it. It's getting a little bit hot in here. Feeling it in your abs. Let's just do 2 more. And last one. And now we're just going to sit back up and then roll all the way down on a slow roll down. So for this one, you can keep your knees bent, keep your arms forward, and then just going to roll down slowly to the count of 4. So 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're on your back. So you just keep with your knees on the mat and your hips up, your legs kind of hip distance apart. And we're just going to do some pelvic tilts. So first of all, to help you find your neutral and your imprinted spine, we're just going to form a diamond with our thumbs joined and our first fingers joined and place that on your belly. So put your thumbs where your belly button is and your fingers where your pubic bone is. And when they're level, that's what we call our neutral spine. Now I want you to just tilt back, pushing your back into the mat. Think about you've got a blueberry under you trying to squash, and your fingers should come up higher than your thumbs. This is called your anterior tilt or your imprinted spine. Most of the time we'll be in neutral, but sometimes it can feel a bit easier to go into imprinted spine if you're hurting your lower back. So then rock forward into neutral, and that's when your your fingers and thumbs are parallel. And then tilt the other way. So try and arch your back. Fingers go down lower than your thumbs, and that's your posterior tilt. We often don't go into this that much in Pilates, but you should be aware when you're tilting. So then back into neutral. Let's just do 1 more round of each. So imprinted spine, squashing the blueberry, back into neutral, posterior tilt, arching your back, and then back into neutral. We're going to stay into neutral for this next part. So now we're going to go into some glute bridges. So we're going to start slow. So go back into the neutral spine, have your hands balanced, or you can put your arms against the floor, which gives you a bit more of support. And we're just going to go into some some glute bridges. So just make sure your heels should be you should be touch your heels with your fingers. So it should be quite close to your bottom. And again, you can have the hands down, that gives you a bit more support. And take an inhale. And as you exhale, just roll up. So you start off with a pelvic tilt and you roll yourself up to the top on your glute bridge. Hold it up there. You should be squeezing your glutes, squeezing your bum, feeling your hips are like lights shining up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to roll back in the reverse. So think about coming down from the top of your back first, slowly down. Hips are the last thing to lower to the mat. And then you come back into your neutral spine. We're just going to do 3 more of those. So starting with the pelvic tilt, and then work your way up slowly, all the way up to the top. Pause here for 2, 1, and then back down. I like to think of my back as a little bit of a caterpillar, rolling up. So it's got lots of flexibility and lots of movement. So we've got 2 more to do. Rolling all the way up, pause at the top, 1, 2, and then roll yourself back down. And then this is the last one. Roll yourself back up. And this time we're going to hold at the top. I'm just going some pulses. So just lower your hips down, just literally an inch, and back up. It's a very small movement, it's just a very subtle movement. And then as you're going up, think about squeezing your glutes to get yourself back up, and even trying to get a little bit higher every time. So not too low, and then pushing up with your glutes. Let's just do 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, we're just going to hold at the top for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly all the way back down into your neutral spine. You give yourself a bit of a hug, bring your knees into your chest. Rock yourself back and forward. Done quite a lot of work there on our glutes. Now we're going to go into a marching sequence. So for marching, put your feet back on the ground again. Keep your knees hip distance apart. And we're just going to bring our legs up to tabletop. So to go up to tabletop one at a time. So bring your right leg up first. So tabletop is when your shin is parallel to the ceiling and your knee is about arm's length apart. And then when you put it down, it's called marching. You're just going to march your leg down, but think about keeping this right angle in your leg. So it's not just putting your foot down, it's almost like placing it down away. And then think about your left leg up, same. Then place it down. So we're just going to do slow and steady marching like this, concentrating on the movement rather than trying to rush anything or do it wrong. So at the moment your hips should remain stable, so try and avoid rocking side to side. You can just hold your hips if that helps. I'm just going to keep on with this marching. So at the moment we're working our hip flexor, but our torso is remaining stable. Let's just do 2 more on each side. And last one. So wherever you are, just make sure you've evened yourself up. Then we're going to give those legs a break, getting some abs. So interlace your hands, put them behind your head. Just hold your neck so it's comfortable. You think of your hand as like a basket holding your head. You're not using them to push your head up, you're just using it to support your head, being one of the heaviest parts of your body. And your arms, elbows, sorry, stay outstretched if you can. And we're just going to inhale to prepare. And on exhale, just come up to an abs curl. And then go back down. So you inhale when you're down, exhale to come up, using the breath to help you come up. Remember, don't strain too much, don't hurt your neck. Try not to bring your chin, tuck your chin to chest, leave a gap. Imagine you've got a ping pong ball between your chin and your chest, and you're kind of bringing your chest up rather than too much. I know it's called a curl, but you're bringing it up rather than completely rolling in. So let's just do 3 more of these while we've got no legs. And we're going to add in the legs. So 2 and 1. Now we're going to add in a combo. So next time as you come up, you're going to march up with alternate legs. So come up and do your right leg and then place it back down. And then we're going to left leg. So you can go at your own pace. Just always make sure when you finish the moves that you're evened out on both sides. And if this becomes too much in your neck, you're feeling it a bit of a strain, it's hurting today, or it just generally hurts, just go down and just do the marches. You don't need to add the ab curl, or maybe do a set with marches and then a set with the ab curls, and then a set without. You don't need to do the ab curl on every set if it hurts. Don't want you straining your neck. So let's just do 1 more set after this. And we're just gonna now go into leg extension. So extend out your leg and bring it back down. So just need to go out in 45 degrees. And then if you can, if you're doing it before, you can add in that ab curl. So next time you come up and you're evened out, just add in an ab curl and then back down. And remember, we're alternating just ab curl up and then down with each leg swap. And then if you like, you can add in an arm reach. So just going a bit more to the side, getting into more of the side body, and stretching your arm out on the outside part of that leg. So we're getting quite a bit more intense. So let's just do 2 more on each side. Again, just even yourself out, whichever side you're on, make sure you're even. And for me, that's the last one. Whew. We're just going to bring our knees, rock ourselves around, and then you can also windscreen wiper your legs. So put your legs down, feet down, sorry, and just rock your legs side to side. Stretching out. Work the glutes, work a bit those hip flexors. So just stretching yourself out. Okay, and the last time you bring your legs to the right, or whichever side you'd like. I'm going to go onto my right side. We're just going to go onto our side body. And we're going to go into a clown sequence. So you can hold your head up with your hand, but it's often better just to put your head on your arm as a pillow. That way your body remains aligned and you're not at kind of a funny angle. So lie yourself down, and for clams, you bring your knees up in front of your hips, and then your legs are parallel to the mat. And I often like to put my hand on my hip, or you can put your hand in front of you for support. And then we're just going to lift, keep our heels as they glue together, and just lift your top leg and lower. It doesn't have to be a very big movement. You should feel it in the glutes working. And you can just, again, Try not to avoid rocking forward or back. Try and keep your hips stacked on the mat, and we're just moving that top leg up. Let's just do a few more, and then we're going to add on a layer. So let's just do 3, 2, and 1. Now this time we're going to do the same, but we're going to lift our heels. So lift your heels slightly off the mat, and then repeat the same with the top leg. Gets a little bit more intense, a little bit different part of your glute this time. So you start to really work that top leg. Let's do 3 more. And then we're going to go into a combo. So your next one, you're going to down, you're going to lift your knee up and then lift your leg up so it's parallel. Then you put your foot down to meet the heel and your knee down. So it's knee, leg, foot down, knee down. Knee up, leg up, foot down, knee down. So again, if this becomes too much, just go back to either of the versions we've done before. Don't need to strain and lift your leg too high. Can be quite intense. So I'm just going to do 3 more. Keep it slow though, don't rush through them. 2 more. And last one. You can give that bottom a bit of a pat. It's probably hurting. We're not finished on this leg yet. So now we're going to go into some long leg lifts. So have now your legs stretched out on the mat. Again, this one you might want to put your hand in front of you because you can be a little bit more unstable. And we're just going to do some leg lifts. So now keep that bottom leg glued to the mat and lift your top leg up, just up to hip height. So not too high, and try not to rock forward or back, just up to hip height, and then lower down. And keep going with this movement. If you can, try and avoid your top leg touching the bottom leg as you come down. Just hover it just a few centimetres off the floor, just give you that little bit more harder work, but it'll be better for you. But otherwise you can totally just put your foot down on top if you need that break in between. If it becomes too much, you can actually bend your lower leg. That just might give you a bit more stability and stop you rocking if you're finding you are rocking. Otherwise, if you want to challenge yourself, the best movement is long legs, and then don't put your top foot meeting the bottom foot. So let's just do 4 more of these because we're really working this top leg. 2, last one, hold it up. I'm just going to pulse up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Legs really starting to hurt now. Last one, do some circles, just tennis ball size forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, then you can bring that leg down, give it another whack. Now I just want you to roll onto your front. So I'm just going to swap around so you can see me better, but just roll over whichever side you were. And we're just going to give those glutes and legs a bit of a break. And we're going to go some arm stretches. So hopefully you can still see me okay. So lie on your front. It's better if you had your head touch the mat. I'm just going to have mine up so you can hear me a little bit better. And have your arms and your legs a little bit pointing to the corners of the mat. So in a bit of a X shape. I'm just going to start by lifting our right arm just a little bit off the mat. It's only about a few inches. Don't lift too high as you start rocking around and hurting your shoulder. And I'm just going to do the same with our left. So just lifting our arms at the moment. So lift your right and your left, your right and your left. Now we're going to do the same with the legs. Again, not too high, you don't want to rock. Just gentle alternate legs. Just getting used to that movement. Moving right and left. And now we're going to do alternates. So you're going to lift your right arm and left leg, place them both back down to the mat, left arm, right leg. Keep going, alternating, just with this slow movement, looking down at the mat and just making sure you're not working anything else, you're not straining your neck, you're just working through. It's good for your shoulders, and again, you're probably feeling it in his glutes again. Let's just do a few more at this pace. I'm going to go into a little bit faster and what we call swimming. If it's too much for you, just keep going at this pace, or just stick to doing arms and legs separately if it's really too much. Otherwise, if you're with me, we're going to count and you're going to move on my count. I'm just going to count down from 20. So next time you're even, let's just get down so we're all even. So if we just finish off so that we're back down. Now together, you're going to move on my count. So lift your right, left, that's 20. And then left arm, right leg, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you down. So you should hopefully feel a little bit you're fluttering. That's why it's called swimming. So you're fluttering at the end. Now we're just going to stretch ourselves out. So put your hands by your chest and then just come back into a chart pose. Stretch your arms out. Really just give yourself that rest, and you can wiggle your hips if it feels good. Okay, now we're going to move forward into our hands and knees. So you're just going to move forward, have your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees hip distance apart. We're going to tuck our toes and go into knee hovers. So remember with that plank, same feeling, pushing up between your shoulder blades. Imagine I've got someone coming along and pushing on your back, pushing up, and we're just going to lift our knees just very slightly, just a couple of centimetres off of the mat, like this, and then push them back down again. So try not to be arching or too tilted. Be in your neutral spine. Push through your hands as you push up and back down. Let's just do a few more of these as we go into it. So if you inhale, exhale as you push up, using your breath. Don't go too fast, don't go too high. It's just a gentle movement, but it's a very strong movement. And push into your palms as well. We tend to just push into our fingers, but push into all parts of your hand. Let's just do 3 more, 2 more. Last one, we're just going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up into downward dog. Oh, there we go. So you can just pedal your feet out, probably feel it in your hamstrings, the back of your legs. Just stretch yourself out. And let's just walk ourselves back and do an upward stretch first if we keep moving. So walk yourself back up to standing, like we did at the beginning, rolling yourself up. Bring the arms to the top. And let's just test those tiptoe balance. Hopefully you feel a little bit more balance now. Roll the arms down and then walk yourself back out into a plank. We're just going to go into some slow mountain climbers. So same position, hands, hips, hands shoulder width apart, under your shoulders, not too far forward, not too far back, pushing up between your back, hips not too high, it's not a downward dog, hips just too high. And then we're just going to bring one knee just into towards the same elbow and back. And you can just keep going at a slow pace. Pushing up, if this is too much, you can come down onto your elbows and you can do exactly the same thing. Again, not bum too high. Otherwise, if you want to challenge yourself a bit more, come up onto your hands. And the last few, whenever you're evened out, we're just going to add in a side. So this time, move your knee to the opposite elbow. Getting into a bit more of the side work. It's going to be a bit stronger. So let's just do 2 more on whichever side you're on. And 1 more, and then we're going to roll ourselves down. So go back into your plank and then lower yourself down to 4 on my beat. So you're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're on the front. Now this time we're just going to work our other side. So for me, I need to roll onto my left side. Just do the opposite of what you did before, if you can remember. We're going to start with the clams. So your arm was outstretched underneath with your head, resting on a pillow. Your knees are at the front of the mat with your feet parallel lying along the mat, hands in front of you or on your hips for support. Start with the heels glued together. Just come down so you can see my face. Heels glued together. I'm just going to lift the knee and lower it. So probably might feel a little bit harder one side than the other, or maybe just this side because we worked ourselves a bit more already. So remember, not too high, don't rock forward or back, hand can be in front of you for support, and let's just go into some of those lifts. Let's just do 4 more. 2 and 1. Now this time we go back to lifting the heels up and repeat the same. So knees, heels stay lifted, the feet glued together still, but lifted. I'm just going to keep lifting the knee up. Let's just do 4 more before we get into the combo. 2 and 1. Now remember the combo, so it was knee up, foot down, knee down. Knee up, foot down, knee down. So remember, when you get that foot up, just try and keep your legs parallel when they're up. So don't go too high, don't lift it up. Your knee should remain the same level as your foot. Let's just do 3 more. 2 more. We're really feeling it now. This glutes, really been working hard. And last one. And you can just rest your legs down, give yourself a bit of beat out. And we're just going to last bit on this side. We're just going to stretch out our legs and go back into the leg lifts. So keep your head down. Use the hand for support. Remember the knee under if that's better for you. Always legs stretch out and just leg up to hip height and back down. Again, if you can avoid touching your foot onto that bottom foot, that makes it a bit stronger, but if it's too much for you, it's totally fine to lower it and have that mini break in between. Let's just do 4 more. 2, last one, keep it lifted, pulse up to sky, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, keep it lifted, and 1, and go forward for circles, just tennis ball size, 4, 3, 2, 1, and backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower your legs. Whew. Hit that one out, well deserve this as well now. And now we're going to go onto our backs again and just give ourselves a bit of a stretch out. So roll yourself over onto your back. Just bring your knees into your chest. Let's just go back into that deep breathing. So breathing through your nose, out through your mouth. You can roll your knees around in circles. You can stretch your knees, hold them just with different opposite hands, same hand, sorry, knees apart. Remember, just always roll in the opposite direction, giving your back a little massage after all the hard work that you've done. And then when you steady yourself back in the middle, bring your right leg, hold both hands on the shin, not the knee, the shin. Squeeze it in and stretch your left leg out. Just hold that stretch. Breathe into it. Good for the hip flexor. You can also roll your ankles around and get out any air bubbles, cracks and creases you might feel. Mine often crack a lot, especially been doing a few on our balanced. And now you're just going to glide that leg. So you can use your opposite hand. So mine's my left hand, my right knee. And then just glide the leg over the body. So you're doing a supine twist. So you can put your opposite arm out if you can. You can turn around, you can X-twist your neck as well. And just look away at your opposite hand. And just really breathe into that stretch. Should feel nice after we've done a lot of side stretch work as well. Okay, now we're just going to go into a glute stretch. So if you put your right foot onto your left knee, and as you roll back, catch your left, you should bring yourself into what's called a figure 4. So it looks like you're literally a figure 4. You can weave your hands in between your legs, hold on to that opposite shin, hold the shin, not the knee, and then just bring it in towards you. Again, sometimes it can be nice just to have another rounding of the feet, flex and point your toes, and also wiggle a bit side to side, get into these glutes that you've worked out. Now we're just going to do another side stretch. So now cross over your legs. Imagine you're sitting cross-legged on a chair, and then just roll back to that same side. Just a bit more of a stretch this one. Again, look to your opposite hand, have it stretched out. If you've got enough room, you can lie your hands out. Otherwise, you can lie them in kind of cactus arms or goalpost arms with a bend at your elbow. But you have the room, just lie them out along the floor. Just hold this. Deep breaths, just grounded. Remember, thank yourself for taking the time to do this class. If you've forgotten about whatever was going on, you're still just concentrating on the time you made for you today. I'm just going to do the other side. So roll onto your back, bring the other knee into your chest. So for me, it's my left knee in now, my right leg stretched out, and just hold that. Again, roll the ankles. If that's good for you, point and flex the toes, and really hold the shin. Really bring that knee in. You should feel it in your hip flexor. You get back through that side sequence. So start by gliding with your opposite hand. So mine's my right hand, left knee, or your opposite. Glide it over to the side. Arms stretched out if you can, or in cactus or goalpost. And if you can, look without straining your neck, look over the shoulder. If it hurts too much, just look towards the knee and the way you're facing. Otherwise, it's nice just to get the opposite stretch in the side body. Go back to the figure of four. So put your foot or ankle, rest your ankle on the knee, and then roll. As you roll over, bring that ankle forward with your knee, thread your arms through, hold your shin, and stretch in your figure four. Again, you can rock side to side, circle your ankles. Sometimes you use that bottom leg to bring the top one in. It's really giving yourself a nice juicy stretch. A lot of glute work today. And then last one, back to the knee, legs crossed, and roll over to that same side for that deeper stretch. Arms out or in goalposts, looking over the opposite shoulder. A few more breaths here. And we're just going to roll onto our backs, bring both knees in, and then you can just hold behind your thighs, and we're just going to roll ourselves up. Just a few rolls. So as you get to the top, you put your feet down and roll yourself back. If you want, you can hover. We've done quite a lot, and we're just stretching our body out. So there's nothing wrong with just putting your feet down and using it for support. Let's just do two more. And your last one, we're going to stay up in the seated position. Just going to swivel around. So as you're seated now, we're just going to go into butterfly stretch. So just have your feet, soles of your feet together, and your knees will butterfly out. First, we'll just think about sitting upright. So often it's nice to kind of wiggle your bum around, bring your knees in. I like to hold my feet with my hands as my ankle clicking. And first, just think about sitting upright. Imagine I've got an imaginary string pulling your head up to the ceiling. And then firstly, it's a tilt, not a rounding the back. So firstly, breathe in to prepare. And as you exhale, tilt yourself forward. You can use your elbows onto your knees to push them out. Try to round, try and tilt until you can't go further forward. Then you can round your back. And just hold the butterfly stretch. Getting into that inner thighs. Stretching out on what we've done. And the deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just do 4 more. Last 2. And last 1. And the last bit of the stretch, just sit up on your mats, hang across your legs. Hopefully that's good for you. Or you can actually do this one with your knees under you as well, if that's better for you. I'm just going to go back to knees crossed, and I'm just going to float our arms. So you put your one hand down, your right hand down to the mat, and just float your other hand up and over. And then just come back up. And then we're just going to do the same side. So as you go over, you might find you can stretch over a little bit more. Your bottom elbow might bend a little bit more, get a bit closer to the mat. Let's just do a few more on this side. Let's do 4 more. 2, and on your last one, you want to hold over that stretch. Let's hold it over. The count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, stay down and roll yourself round. So put your top hand down, and you want me to move your bottom hand to a little bit of the left, and just rolling yourself over the side. So you feel a nice juicy stretch all the way down in your side body. Don't put your hands too far forward. You can tent your fingers if you like, and call it cupcakes. You can covering a cupcake, or you can just place your palms onto the mat. So hold it for 4, 2, 1, and bring yourself up to seated. Before we go to the other side, we're just going to do a few sways. So just get a bit of rotation in your body. So just firstly, just put your opposite hand on your opposite knee, and then look around over your shoulder. And then let's keep doing that the other side. Over your shoulder. Keep going alternate sides. Pausing on the way back. I'm just going to do another 2 to each side. So last one, and remember, just even up whatever side you're on. And we're just going to pick up the pace. So keep doing that. Just go a little bit faster. So don't really hold, just it's a general pause, much as I'm taking a photo, pause, photo, pause. You can bring in a bit more movement, start to sway your arms, flap yourself as you just go around. Bring a bit of movement, close your eyes. That feels good for you. Let's just do 4 more. 2 and 1. And just place your hands on your knees, gently open your eyes if you close them, and just ground and settle yourself a little bit. When you've done the rotation, you don't want to go dizzy. I'm just going to even ourselves out on the other side. So if you're with me, you should now have your left hand down, and then we're just going to bend over into that side, lifting the top arm. You can look under kind of the armpit if you like, and then remember, every time you go over, just lower the bottom elbow that little bit more, just to really get into that side stretch. Let's do 4 more, and the last one we're going to hold. 2 more. And last one, wherever you are, just hold it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, remember, put the top hand down, twist your body round. You can move the other hand up a little bit and just get into that side stretch a bit more. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull yourself back up. And the last bit, we're just going to do stretch into the sky. So bring both arms up, stretch up, interlace your fingers, push them up to the sky, and float your arms back down. Keep doing that, just to stretch ourselves out. You can add in a side that feels good for you. Otherwise, you can keep going, just do whatever you feel your body needs. You can twist a bit of rotation if you like. I've done a lot of different planes of movement. Let's do 2 more, whichever way you're going. And we're all going to join ourselves together at the bottom, and this time we're just going to do some shrugs. So we're going to lift our arms up, and as you bring them back down, to hold them in the air, just going to bring them back down with letting everything out. So just like, watch me do it. We'll go. So now bring your arms back up, and we're just going to go. Let's just do 3 more of those together. Just get rid of whatever it is that you're bottling up. Be proud of yourself, giving yourself today to do this class. And that is the end of the class. So thank you very much. It's a bit of a longer session today. Hope you aren't feeling it too much tomorrow. And thank you for joining me.